Hello everyone, I'm Kenshin, welcome to Say History. As the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris are approaching, the Eiffel Tower, the largest landmark, is bound to become a popular tourist destination again. But did you know that when you wanted to demolish the Eiffel Tower, you attracted a scammer and almost sold the tower? 2 times. Who is the number 1 person? Come learn his story today. Before the show starts, please subscribe, share, and turn on the little bell. This will help us grow faster. Without further ado, the show begins. Picture this: Paris, the city of lights, buzzing with life. And in the midst of it all, there's Victor Lustig, strutting down the boulevards like he owns the place. With his slick suit and determination oozing from every pore, he's the kind of guy who commands respect with just a nod. Now, imagine this scene: Lustig, accompanied by his buddy André Poisson, strolling through the streets, plotting something big. Lustig's pointing out government buildings left and right, whispering secrets about bomb shelters and hidden chambers. But they're not just sightseeing, oh no, they're cooking up a scheme that's wilder than fiction. You see, Lustig's got his sights set on none other than the Eiffel Tower itself. Yeah, you heard that right. He's convincing Poisson to cough up millions of gold francs to buy the iconic landmark from the government. And get this, they're planning to tear it down and sell it off piece by piece as scrap metal. As they walk in the shadow of the towering steel structure, Lustig's spinning a tale so wild, it's got Poisson's head spinning. With a few strokes of the pen, he promises, the Eiffel Tower will be theirs. It's a fantasy straight out of a fairy tale. But here's the kicker: it's all smoke and mirrors. Lustig's not a businessman, he's a con artist of the highest order. And the Eiffel Tower, well, let's just say it's not for sale. So how did Lustig manage to pull off this audacious scam not once, but twice? That's a tale worth telling. International man of mystery. Victor Lustig, or Robert Miller as he went by in some circles, was born with a knack for spinning tales that could charm the socks off anyone. Hailing from Hostinec, a little town that's now part of the Czech Republic, Lustig was destined for a life of mischief from the get-go. His journey into the world of deception began early. According to Christopher Sanford, the mastermind behind Victor Lustig, the man who conned the world. As a teenager, Lustig wasn't content with just being Robert Miller, oh no, he fancied himself a baron or a count, living out his wildest fantasies with a title to match. By the time he hit 18, Lustig had traded in his pickpocketing days for a seat at the card tables in Vienna. And let me tell you, he had a way with those cards that would make even the slickest hustler blush. He could make a deck of cards do anything but talk, one victim spilled to True Detective Mysteries magazine. But Lustig wasn't content with just fleecing folks at the card tables. Oh, no, he had bigger fish to fry. From Vienna to Prague to London and back again, Lustig was like a con artist on a whirlwind tour of Europe. His MO, a little something called the bait and switch. Take, for instance, the time he posed as a German count in Paris, spinning tales of inheritance and fortune to unsuspecting victims. One poor soul even handed over a gold watch as collateral, only to find out it was nothing more than stainless steel painted gold. Talk about a swindle. But Lustig didn't stop there. Oh, no, he had a knack for peddling fake historical documents too. From Marie Curie to the Wright brothers to good old Abe Lincoln, nobody was safe from Lustig's forgery frenzy. And when he found himself in hot water over a Mark Twain story he'd sold to a magazine, did he back down? Not a chance. Instead, he waltzed into the office, defended his work like a pro, and even managed to sell them a so-called Walt Whitman poem on the side. And let's not forget his adventures on the high seas. In 1914, Lustig set his sights on the millionaires lounging around the poker tables of transatlantic ships. Teaming up with a partner in crime, they cooked up a scheme that would make your head spin, bamboozling unsuspecting players out of their hard-earned cash faster than you could say, jackpot. But here's the kicker: Lustig wasn't just a con artist, he was a family man too. His daughter Betty, bless her heart, learned her first lesson in life from dear old dad: never speak to the police. And despite the occasional run-in with the law, Lustig always bounced back, viewing his misadventures as nothing more than minor bumps in the road on his journey back to his loving wife and daughter. So, was Lustig a villain or a master of his craft? Well, that's a tale as old as time, my friend. But one thing's for sure when it comes to spinning yarns and pulling the wool over people's eyes, Victor Lustig was in a league of his own. Barbaric bulk. Paris in the 1920s, the city of lights, love, and one Victor Lustig, the smooth-talking swindler extraordinaire. By this time, the Eiffel Tower, that iconic symbol of Parisian pride, had been standing tall for nearly 4 decades. But let's just say it wasn't exactly everyone's cup of tea. Initially erected for the World Fair, the tower was met with more than a few raised eyebrows. Parisians didn't mince words, they despised it. Some called it a barbaric bulk, others labeled it a ghastly dream. Even esteemed writer Guy de Maupassant suggested it should be smashed to bits. Despite the backlash and the tower's insatiable appetite for paint, it stood firm, a testament to Gustave Eiffel's engineering prowess. But where there's controversy, there's opportunity, and Lustig had a nose for it. He'd been keeping a close eye on the rumors swirling around the tower, whispers of the government wanting to tear it down. It was the perfect setup for his grandest con yet. Setting up shop at the posh Hotel de Crillon, Lustig spared no expense in crafting his scheme. With a little help from his friends and some clever subterfuge, he posed as a high-ranking government official, complete with forged documents and clandestine meetings in the hotel's basement. Enter André Poisson, a wide-eyed newcomer to the Parisian scene. Lustig saw potential in him, the perfect mark for his elaborate ruse. The two struck up a fast friendship, with Lustig playing the part of the suave bureaucrat and Poisson none the wiser. Before long, Poisson was signing contracts left and right, convinced he was about to become the proud owner of the Eiffel Tower. Little did he know, it was all smoke and mirrors. With a hefty bribe and a check in hand, Lustig vanished into thin air, leaving Poisson holding the bag. But Lustig wasn't content with just one big score. Oh no, he had grander ambitions. Despite the skepticism of his accomplices, he attempted the same trick again, with disastrous results. This time, the jig was up, and Lustig found himself making a hasty exit from the City of Light. But Lustig was no stranger to a quick getaway. With the authorities hot on his trail, he bid adieu to Paris and set his sights on greener pastures across the pond. And as for Poisson, well, let's just say he learned a valuable lesson about trusting strangers with flashy suits and too good to be true deals. Monumental scams. The early 1900s, a golden era for con artists and their elaborate schemes. While Charles Ponzi was busy making headlines with his infamous money-spinning shenanigans, another smooth operator was cooking up his own brand of deception, Victor Lustig. Now, Lustig wasn't the first to try his hand at selling monuments he didn't actually own. He was merely following in the footsteps of the greats, like George Parker, a mastermind who made a tidy profit peddling landmarks like the Brooklyn Bridge and the Statue of Liberty to unsuspecting buyers. But Lustig wasn't content with just one big con. Oh no, he had bigger fish to fry. After his daring Eiffel Tower caper, he set his sights on even loftier targets, including none other than the notorious gangster Al Capone himself. In a plot that could have been ripped straight from the pages of a Hollywood script, Lustig managed to swindle the infamous mobster before the long arm of the law finally caught up with him. But it wasn't until he ventured into the murky world of counterfeiting that Lustig's luck finally ran out. His million-dollar operation, churning out fake $100 bills by the truckload, caught the attention of the Secret Service. And it wasn't some elaborate sting operation or high-tech surveillance that brought him down, no. It was his own mistress who ultimately betrayed him, tipping off the authorities to his whereabouts. Despite his eventual downfall, Lustig had become something of a legend in the world of fraud. So much so, in fact, that he penned a set of rules for aspiring con artists to follow. It was a fitting legacy for a man who had turned deception into an art form. The infamous Victor Lustig. Even behind bars on Alcatraz Island, he couldn't resist one last con: repentance. Rumor has it, He started cozying up to the prison chaplain, suddenly showing an interest in religion. But knowing Lustig, was it a genuine change of heart or just another elaborate scheme? Who knows? Maybe he was plotting his great escape, ready to slip out disguised as the minister himself, leaving the real one tied up in his place. But despite Lustig's slippery ways, there's a lesson to be learned here, folks. People are still falling for the same old tricks. Lustig proved time and time again that all it takes is a smooth talker with a convincing story and a dash of charm to reel in the unsuspecting. He knew exactly what strings to pull to make people feel special, to make them believe what they wanted to hear. So, next time someone comes knocking with a too-good-to-be-true offer, remember old Victor Lustig. Because as much as the world may change, the art of the scam remains the same. What do you think about this story? Please leave your comments. See you in the next episode.